Anyway, right. I think it's time to get into some replays, guys. We've got some Kux versus KC replays. Do you guys want to get into this? This is the Kux Minions versus Karmine Corp qualification match for this regional event that's happening this weekend. And we're going to watch the first one on Kux POV. Kux right now teaming with Rixie and Growly. And Karmine Corp is the terrifying Astral, Itachi, and Stake. And a nice little infield pass there from Itachi to open the scoring for KC. Yeah, what do you guys think about this team? Wait, I looked away for a second. What happened? Let's watch this again. Okay, dead ball kickoff. Itachi plus cheat. Stake can't make it back. Just a very risky kickoff there by Karmine Corp, and a free goal for Kuxir's Minions. It's pronounced Rai, not Rixie. Why is he called Rai if there's an X in his name? What's he doing? Why is he called Rai? Don't tell me he's called Rai, man. He's a Dominus player as well. This guy's just trying to annoy me. But yeah, this is a match that was played last weekend for the I think it was the 2-1 round in the qualifier for this weekend's regional event, regional number 3 for the fall split in Europe. Karmine Corp have made it to both of those regionals so far, regionals 1 and 2. Kuxir's Minions have not, so this is them looking to qualify for the first time. However, they were 1 goal away from qualifying in regional number 2 qualifiers. They lost that one to the Flying Dutchman, and then they ended up, I can't remember who they lost to in the final round, but yeah, they didn't qualify. It's really cool to see them still putting in results, because I'm a massive Kuxir fan, as I'm sure a lot of you guys are. Oh, it was SK that they lost to in regional 2, thank you. So he wants to be called Rai, but he's named himself Rixie. Interesting. Personally, I think Rixie sounds like a way cooler name. Not sure about you guys. It might just be because I'm a caster, and one syllable names are just not as fun to say when you're casting. It's much easier to say Rixie like in an excited way than Rai. It just sounds silly if it's one syllable. It always ends up sounding weird. Nice bump there by Kux. A bit fortunate with the landing, but very nicely done in the transition from defense. Rai is his actual name. Oh, okay, so his real name is R-A-I-I, and he just replaced the A with the X. Interesting. Interesting. Kuxir getting a good few 50s here. And the counterattacks are looking very good for this team. Gotta say, Kuxir's Minions up 3-1 now. You don't call Ashley Ashlixie? Well, that's a bit more obvious, isn't it? Like, that's a bit easier to spot. It's a bit easier to spot that one, I would say. Like, why would anybody expect the X in Rixie to be a sound, you know? It doesn't appear that way. Ooh, nice shot by Astral. Both teams are just scoring at will here. They're just like, every time they get an attack, it's a goal. The best kind of match to watch for a Rocket League fan. Are Batmobiles allowed for LAN again this season? That's a good question. I'm not sure what the rules are. Kuxir. Who wrote that? That's fantastic. I'm liking what I'm seeing from Kux at the moment. Decent mechanics on show by the legend. Growly, by the way, is a player I've casted a few times in ones. He's a very good player. Oh, nice demo by Kux on the recovery there. Yeah, Growly, a very good ones player, but his claim to fame on my channel is for the wrong reasons. He actually suffered the largest comeback defeat of anyone in my channel. He lost a 7-0 lead to Rob, aka Kiernan, in a recent 1v1, well, somewhat recent 1v1 event that I casted. I don't think I casted it on my channel, but I covered the match on my channel. You can find it on my YouTube if you want to see the biggest one-game comeback I've ever seen. 7 goals come back to win from Rob in that one. So gutted for Growly, but he's still very good. Did he say be careful? I don't think he said be careful, so that was maybe the biggest mistake he made there. Do I think KC will make the foul major? I'm going to say, at the moment, I'm going to say no. I'm changing my mind on that all the time because it's such a difficult one to predict. It's very, very close, you know, whether they make it or not for me. Before the qualifier this weekend, the one that we're currently watching some games from, I said yes, I did think they would make it. But after the qualifier, I changed my mind to no because they just don't look consistent enough. And I think a very big part of getting a good result in quarterfinals of the playoffs is how well you do in Swiss. You know, are you going to get a good record so you can get a good matchup in the quarterfinals? Because if you don't, if you finish 3-1 or 3-2, you might run into someone like BDS. Oh, nice little deflection there by Kux to send the ball clear. But do I think KC will win a quarterfinal match if they get into it against a non-BDS / Dignitas team? I think yes. I think Dignitas and BDS look like the scary teams to run into at the moment. But if KC can just avoid playing those teams in the quarterfinals, I think they make semis. And top 4 would, I think, be enough to clinch. Would it actually? How many points would that give them? That would give them 200 points. They're currently, I think, on 280. They'd be 480 points. Maybe that wouldn't even be enough to clinch. They might have to make the final. So, yeah, it's going to be tough. Going to be tough to see that. I don't think top 4 will be enough. I think grand finals will probably be enough, though. Anyway, that's game 1 of 3. Let me just hide the overlay while we get into the second one here. We'll watch this one from Rai, aka Rixie's POV. What do you guys think of Kuxir there? I've got to say, I'm liking what I'm seeing from him. I think Kuxir's still got... I think he's still got some deep runs left in him. I think he's still got some impressive tournament and impressive performances left in him. He still plays the game in his own way, even though he's kind of following the meta. You can see there that he still plays his own style, where he does like to control the ball, but he's so good at 50-50s, and he's so good at being difficult to read that it really does work for him. You know, players who I think slow the game down too much and are obvious with it can just be easily punished in the high-end game these days. But Kuxir is very, very tough to read, and I think that's also one of the reasons why he has struggled to keep a consistent team recently, because it's not just his teammates, or I mean, it's not just his opponents who have a hard time reading him, it's his teammates as well. But Rixie, aka Rai, I'm going to keep getting it wrong, I'm sorry. Oh! That's a good try there by mistake, although Riley looked like he should have had that. But yeah, I was going to say, if this team can just stick together, I could see them having success. Because for Kuxir to have success, he just needs to have a team that trusts him and a team that play around him. Because although he's tough to read for the teammates, if you put in time learning how to play with him, then yeah, it can work, as we've seen from Kux in the past. He is eternal. Am I referring to Flake's playstyles in particular? Well, I didn't have Flakes in mind when I said that, but Flakes is a good example of this, where I think he maybe does it too much. If you know that the other team, or if you know a player on the other team is just going to slow the ball down every single time that they can, then it's not going to be too hard to punish them. But look at Kux here, again, just following up these half clears with big dunks again and again. He actually dunked on 2 players in a row there, so he's getting those really consistently, and that shows that he's not getting outpaced. He's actually reaching the ball, even if he does hit it away from himself and look like he may have lost control. And this must be a really tough team to play against, because you've got Kuxir, who's tough to read, and you've got Rai in the Dominus here. So that's just historically a very hard card to play against, as evidenced by the success Gimmick has had throughout his Rocket League career. You know, when somebody is playing Dominus and you see them flying up to hit the ball, I feel like they've got a bigger range of what they could be doing. And if you guys watch or play poker, you'll know what I mean. It's much harder to play against someone if they've got a bigger range that they could be playing, a bigger range of cards that they could be playing in any given hand, it's just annoying because you think, this guy, I'd love to call him here, but he could have anything. You know, and that's what it's like when you're playing against a Dominus in pro play. The ball flies up in the air, you see them going up to aerial it, and you just think, man, I wish that was an Octane, because then I'd know more accurately what's about to happen, but it's a Dominus, so this could go anywhere. Giving each other a lot of space as well. I think one of the biggest mistakes that Kux has had in recent time, and by recent time I mean basically the modern era of Rocket League, RLCS Season X and onwards, I'd say is modern. Maybe he could throw Season 8 in there as well. But Kux, very often he'll be too close to the play. And the game is faster paced than it's ever been now. You need to play a little bit further back, especially if you're third man. And you can't really see any mistakes here from Rai, Growly and Kux in that regard. They are giving each other enough space so that it's very obvious whose ball it is on any given play. Whereas that doesn't really apply to second man position. You've got to be aggressive as second man. Oh, what a save by Growly. Fake challenge to force the pass and also getting goal side of the shot. Another good recovery as well. Growly doing a lot of work in defense. A nice little touch there as Kuxir hits it towards him. And another block by Kuxir. That one's also got a double commit from KC, and Rai scores it. How many dunks has Kux had in these two games? Because I've not even been counting. I didn't go into this with the mind and the expectation to count how many dunks he's getting, but I've noticed a lot, personally. Brecco, thanks to the 46-month tier 1. Too many, he says. DK Ice, thanks to the 44-month tier 1. Welcome back to the channel. Kux is carrying. I don't think he's carrying at all. I think that they're all doing really well. I'm not noticing any weak link here. I like what they're doing to give each other space to get passing plays going. And you can see that it's just an awkward one for Karmine Corp. The biggest mistake Karmine Corp have made in these games is that they are not hanging back with their third man. Kux missing his shot there. No one to pass to behind him, so he was trying to score that. But he's breaking rotation. Plays it back to Rai. Great passing again from Kuxir's minions. That's also another great pass. Look at the speed of Rai. He's passing it down and into the middle for Growly, who scores it. With 11 seconds left, they're going to lead 2-1. Fantastic stuff by Kuxir's minions. Cutting rotation quite a few times there to catch Karmine Corp off guard. Karmine Corp going to need to pay attention to players on the rotation. The outward rotation, I should say. But before I forget, I was going to say that Karmine Corp are, I think, playing a bit too high up the field with their third man. And this is a strategy that can work if the other team isn't expecting it. If they don't know that you're going to have a third man really up in your face, it can sometimes catch you off guard and you just get challenged by somebody you expect to be further back, and then the ball's in your net. But doesn't look like that's causing Kuxir's minions any problems. They are staying very, very goal side in their 50-50s. They are actually baiting in those challenges from whoever happens to be the third man committing from KC. So KC have got to stop diving in with their last man. It's not catching Kuxir's minions off guard here. I've got any funny Kux stories? I mean, I've told several funny Kux stories in the past, but the shortest funny Kux story that I can remember is when Kuxir and K-Dop and myself, well, actually it wasn't just us three, it was the whole player, like all of the players and all of the people who are with organizations. We're on Growly POV for this game, by the way, but all the players and all of the managers, coaches, subs, everybody from Psyonix, all of the people at season 3 of RLCS went out for dinner after it was the day after we arrived. Everybody was out for dinner somewhere, and I was working as a Flipside Tactics manager at the time, so I was sitting beside Kuxir for dinner, and K-Dop sat opposite us, and K-Dop, right from the very start, super nice guy in the Rocket League scene, really fun to hang out with. I always loved meeting K-Dop and hanging out with him at events, but at this one, K-Dop and Kuxir were trying to have a chat because K-Dop was a big Kuxir fan at the time, and they were on rival teams, Flipside and Mocket, at season 3. They'd been battling intensely all season. And just listening to these two have a chat in English, a Frenchman and an Italian, it was just so funny because they couldn't understand each other, and I was translating English between K-Dop and Kuxir. And at one moment, I guess this is more of a K-Dop story, but at one moment, the waiter came over to ask for our order, and K-Dop ordered a steak, and the waiter asked him how he would like it, as in, you know, how would he like it cooked? And K-Dop just said, what? Because he didn't understand the question. But I didn't like interject. I wasn't like trying to force, you know, my bad translations in. I just left him to it because the waiter seemed to have a handle of the situation, and I think she said to him, oh, like, you know, medium, rare, or well done, and then he just said, oh, thank you. All he heard was well done, and he thought she was congratulating him on like qualifying for the event or something. So he just said thank you, and oh my goodness, we were absolutely dying with laughter. Kuxir was laughing so much he actually couldn't make his order. So it was so funny. I'll never forget this K-Dot moment. Say thank you in the S. I think I might have tweeted that as well. If you scroll way down and look for my season 3 Rocket League tweets, I think I tweeted this. Waiter, how would you like your steak? Medium or well done? K-Dot, thank you. He was like so thankful as well. He was like, oh, like really surprised and thankful for her comment. So yeah, I'll never forget that. Always loved hanging out with those guys. So ridiculous. Meanwhile, we're on board with the almost automatic third man for this team. You know, Grelly knows what he signed up for. He's playing with Kux in the Batmobile and a guy who put X in his name instead of A, who's driving a Dominus. You know you're going to need to be third man for this team. These guys are a bit flamboyant. They're, you know, definitely going to take any opportunity they can to attack. And Grelly is doing a good job of that role. Yeah, thank you, Rai, for spelling your name wrong. Very helpful. Also, Rixie sounds cooler. Oh, look at Growly though. Oh my goodness, what a goal. That was pretty sick. We gotta rewind that one. We gotta see that one more time. Look at this recovery. Pre-flip, top corner. See you later, Itachi. Bet you wish you had boost. This team's legitimate, guys. These guys are actually putting in a good performance. All three of these games have been solid. I wasn't sure what to expect here. Was it just going to be a mega choke by KC, or was it going to be another EU team who are actually good at the game? It looks like it's the latter. Although KC haven't defended all that well. I think KC need to improve their defense. They need to commit. Well, there's two clear things that stand out to me about KC in this series, and that's that they're not communicating early enough, because there's a lot of easily avoidable double commits and easily avoidable positional mistakes with their third man. But they're not communicating their decisions and their intentions early enough, and that's resulting in multiple people going for the same ball. But secondly, and like I mentioned already, I would like their third man to sit a bit deeper sometimes. It's good to press up as third man occasionally, but you do need to sit deep, I think, if the other team are hard clearing the ball as often as Kuxir's minions are. And if the other team are controlling 50-50s as well as Kuxir's minions are. I talked about this while I was casting the Dignitas BDS game of the recent RLCS EU event, well, the most recent RLCS EU event. BDS weren't really able to dominate by just committing 3 players to the attack as they usually do, because every time they'd throw someone in to join the attack as a third man, they'd just lose a 50-50, and that would take away all the pressure. Dignitas did such a good job. Look at Grelly, by the way, reset rebound at speed, on target. Really impressive stuff in this game. And very consistent performance by Kuxir's minions. Karmine Corp don't look too bad. I'm actually more encouraged about Karmine Corp's weekend that's coming up. And them attempting to qualify for the major. I'm more encouraged after seeing this than I was before seeing this, despite the fact that they've been 3-0'd here, which might sound like a weird thing to say, but they've just been scored on in 0 seconds as well. That is brutal. Wow. What just happened? Look at that. Look how long this is 0 for. Still 0. Right. 0 seconds. Bounces up. Kuxir to the backboard. Double commit. Astral also not making contact. Now he does, but not a great clear. Itachi and Sake both look like they're boost starved. Nobody can challenge. Kuxir hitting the bar actually gets everybody to miss. Growly's got an open net. Well, essentially an open net, because there's nobody in the way that no one can stop this shot. That's just uncontested. And even though you've got 3 players around you, Stakes out a boost, he can't stop that. Astral's in the recovery, he can't stop that as well. Wow. KC just need to they just need to communicate a bit better. I think their communication was off here. Because if you're going to play a high third man like they are, you need to communicate so perfectly. You need to, talk about how much boost you've got while you're recovering. Just as an example, if, let's find a position that's relevant to what we're talking about here, where we can see Karmine in offense. So, okay, this is a good example of what I'm talking about. We've got Itachi, a bit slow in the recovery here. Let's see exactly how much boost he's got. Okay, he's got 0. So this is, I think, perfect to show what I mean. So Itachi using all of his boosts to get a mid-air 50-50. That's going to be a slow recovery by him. And I think Astral's next in on the play. He's able to save a little bit of boost. So the key here, in order for Stake to make the right decision on whether or not he should be going here, there's a lot of things to consider. He needs to consider how fast are my teammates going to recover, and how fast is Rixie going to get to this ball, because Rixie's going up for this, and if Rixie is going to beat Stake to the ball, then maybe he shouldn't go. If it looks like I keep saying Rixie, if it looks like Rai's going to get to the ball before him, he shouldn't go, probably. But if it looks like Rai's maybe going to get there first, but Itachi's recovering really quickly, like maybe Itachi lands on the back wall with 30 boosts and he can already be on his way to the halfway line, then this is actually fine to go for. It's not, you don't just look at what the opponents are doing, you got to look at what your teammates are doing as well. But in this position, since Itachi has absolutely no boost, let's watch what his recovery look like. So Itachi should be saying right now that he's got no boost, and that will probably, make sure that Astral doesn't commit all of his boost to this attack. And it'll also mean that Stake doesn't go in on any risky ball. So if it looks like Rai's getting to this ball first, Stake shouldn't go because Itachi's told him he's got no boost. That's what I think KC haven't done very well, because Rai actually does get to the ball first. And if that touch from Rai was a better one, if he was able to hit this towards a teammate, we'll watch it from his POV as well. Yeah, just as an example, if Rai is able to, pop this ball down the middle of the field, it's probably a goal for Growly. I mean, look what's happening here. If that ball's popped into the middle of the field, that's just an open net for Growly. So that would be a goal against Karmine Corp. But Rai had to go this direction with it to not get dunked on, and Itachi was able to get there in time because it wasn't that quick of a hit. But if Stake's a bit slower to this and Rai knows that, he might just pop this. He knows he shouldn't pop it though, because he saw where Stake was. It's too dangerous to pop this. There you go, you can see Stake coming in on the left of the frame. Rai knows Stake's going to go for this. It's far too dangerous to pop it in case he gets dunked on. That's why he goes to the side. He even gets a bit of a blocking touch on it to try and cover the net. So he's kind of blocking goal side here if he can. Doesn't want to get scored on, which is smart. But yeah, plenty of times, this isn't an example of KC getting scored on with a counter-attack, but we did see that a lot earlier in the other replays. We saw a lot of counterattacks going in because the third man is just committing at bad times. It's not always the third man's fault. Like, it's just, if Stake commits at a bad time here, which I don't think he did, I don't think this is I think this is fine for Stake to go. But sometimes a player from KC will go when he shouldn't go, but maybe if he knew how slow his teammates' recoveries are going to be, he wouldn't go in the first place. Read the chat. What am I supposed to read in the chat? You guys are all just spamming. Why I can't read all that. Oh, Rettel says there's no way to pop that ball. Stake is on top of it. Isn't that what I said? I don't know when Rettles wrote that. Ah, I see. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, when I brought this up as an example, chat, just to clarify, I'm not showing you guys this play as an example of KC committing at a bad time. I just showed you this to illustrate what I mean when I say third man committing at a bad time. This was fine for Stake to go. That looked like a good time to go, to me. But if Itachi was recovering more slowly, or if Astral was also out of the game with no boost, if they're both completely out of the game and it looks like Rai's getting to the ball more quickly, you obviously can't go. but you need your teammates to communicate that. Like when you're making your decision of whether or not you go, you have to know how much boost your teammates have got. You have to know how quick their recoveries are going to be. So it's right, now it's actually should be saying he's out of boost and he's going to be out of the game for a second or two. And then Astral should also be saying, if let's say Astral's out of boost, then it would be ideal to know that like ASAP, so you can decide whether or not you go here. But usually if you're committing with third man, you need to know how fast the first man's going to get back, because he's usually the guy who follows up the third man in a play, unless there's a break of rotation. It would be Itachi who's following up Stake. So how quickly Itachi recovers determines how many shots and how many different things Stake can go for in this position. If Itachi's like still floating down to the ground and this looks like a 50-50, probably you can't go. I'm missing the right growly banter. I can't read all of chat, guys. I can't read all of chat. Can you go back to Rye rotation on that backboard read versus Stake? Wait, what, do you have a... You mean this time? Is this what you wanted to see, Rattles? Not sure why you turned to this side. I guess Growly said that he was going to try and pass this to the... maybe Growly shouted that he was going to try and pass this left, and then he just ended up misreading it or something. Let's see what Growly's POV was. Or maybe, sometimes, like in these kind of plays, sometimes the player making the pass attempt will call left, 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 left. Or sometimes the player who's wanting to receive the pass will shout left, 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 left. Growly says that he did call left in this one. So that's definitely on him. He just missed the read. Right here. Probably just didn't realize it was going to hit the ceiling that hard, I suppose. And he took off at the wrong angle. Looked like Astral also missed the read, so this ceiling bounce was a bit of a vicious one. Yeah, he also didn't realize it was going to go up that fast. Which game is this? This is game 3. This was actually the winning game to put Kuxir's minions through to this weekend's EU event, Rattles. So they're in. Karmine Corp after this qualified in the 5th round. KC, it's not determined yet. It's not like locked in, set in stone what they need to do. I think winning a guarantee to qualify, chat. But even though winning is a guarantee to make major for KC, I think grand final, just getting second, will probably be enough. Probably. But that is obviously situational. And I think it's also possible that they make it if they finish in the semis, but they would need a lot of help if they do that. I can bring up the standings really quickly if you guys want to take a look, because it's actually not that hard to figure out scenarios.